Welcome back. Sorry for the lack of hot chocolate tonight. I'm afraid I was rather busy until only a little bit ago. I did bring candy canes though, so do enjoy those. Make yourself comfy and we can get started. Alright, so tonight's story is something short, something simple, and something oh so sweet. It doesn't really say its meaning clearly or flat out, but there are many meanings and many ideas one could pull from it. From the ones you love being the ones you and others would least expect to finding your way to a happy and fulfilling life with the help of friends at your side. The meanings are numerous, the lessons doubly so, but it's a short one. Short and sweet because you don't need an epic to tell a good story. Ready? Then let me tell you the story of Hearthswarming's Snowfall by Misty Meadow. The snow outside was heavy, far heavier than the Cloudsdale team had predicted. Apparently, they still hadn't quite fixed the winter machinery from Rainbow Dash's accident from the previous year. Starlight couldn't even see 3 feet out of the window right in front of her, and the cold permeated enough that even inside, her breath left a cloud of mist in the air.
Hey?
Starlight turned her head to see Trixie approaching.
Twilight and Spike are about to leave for Hearthswarming in Canterlot. Don't you want to say goodbye?
A light smile ghosted on her lips as she whispered gently,
Yeah, I guess I should.
The two mares fell into step, leaning slightly against one another. Trixie was holding her head high, confident, but Starlight was not, and it was quickly noticed by her companion.
Hey,
Trixie said softly.
What's up, Starlight? You seem kinda down.
Almost having zoned out, Starlight flicked her head up and looked away from her friend.
Oh, it's nothing.
Rolling her eyes, Trixie used her shoulders to nudge Starlight slightly, forcing her sideways for a couple of steps.
Horse apples, what's bothering you?
Starlight sighed deeply. She kept on an even walking pace.
I guess it's kinda silly.
Trixie cantered ahead and spun around to face her friend, laying a hoof on her chest.
Trixie doesn't think anything affecting you like this could be silly. Tell Trixie your troubles and she promises to take it seriously.
It didn't matter how many times she saw it happen. Starlight still found it endearing whenever Trixie would slip into her stage persona. It made her appreciate the new mare all the more. She smiled before letting out a quiet chuckle, a sparkle in her eye.
Okay. I trust the great and magnanimous Trixie. So, spill.
Starlight began to grind a hoof into the floor.
I spent most of my life working towards a goal, and it wasn't until recently that I've come to learn what I was really missing. Thanks to Twilight. Last year was the first Hearthswarming I celebrated since I was 7, and the girls went out of their way to show me its true meaning and make me feel welcome, and...
She stood and then approached a nearby window, staring out into the blizzard again.
And this year, each one is busy, and I guess I don't know if I can celebrate it without them.
Turning back, her face showed signs of a struggle, eyes and cheeks twitching and trying to best to keep the tears at bay. In an almost literal flash, Trixie was beside her, pulling her into a deep hug.
Hey, it's going to be fine. I can see where you're coming from, 'cause I've been there too. You have?
Starlight blinked.
Yeah.
Trixie pulled back so she could face Starlight.
I've spent the last 10 years as a traveling show mare. So every year when Hearthswarming rolled around, it was a gamble if I'd make it through the snow into the nearest town or be caught out in a blizzard. Most years, my wagon got stuck, so I'd spend my Hearthswarming huddled by my firebox. I didn't know. I didn't think. You had it worse to me, and here I am wanting...
Trixie shushed her with a hoof.
No, none of that. Trixie wants to enjoy Hearthswarming. After all, this is her first one in 10 years.
A smirk plastered itself across her muzzle, but she quickly wiped it away as Starlight spun to look at her.
You're right. Of course Trixie's right. And I plan to spend the whole evening by your side. Now we need to go say goodbye to the third best unicorn ever.
Starlight rolled her eyes.
Oh, and Spike. The castle is still hosting the Ponyville party, so we can still enjoy ourselves. What do you say?
For the first time that day, Starlight wore a real smile.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Trixie pulled her head close, muzzled to Starlight's ear.
And after the party, when every pony has gone home, I'm looking forward to exchanging my firebox for another way to keep warm.
And with a quick nip of Starlight's ear, Trixie sauntered out of the room, leaving a sputtering unicorn in her wake. The front doors of the castle closed with a thump, the last of the guests' hooves clip-clopping down the crystal steps as they left. With a yawn, Starlight turned back and faced the hall. Chaos greeted her. Not discord, though, just a room trashed from top to bottom. And Starlight found herself pressed to believe that ponies were capable of such things. But as another yawn racked her body, she shrugged. Cleaning up would be future Starlight's problem. Present Starlight was going to go to bed. As she reached the upper floor, she became aware that she was no longer alone. Trixie was following her.
I told you I wasn't planning on huddling by my firebox tonight.
Trixie stepped in line with Starlight, and both bears leaned against the other.
That's fine by me.
She smiled again. Just one of many this night had provided her.
So, how was your new first Hearthswarming Eve party?
A contented sigh left Trixie's lips.
Oh, it was wonderful, but tiring. Well, that's lucky. We've been walking to the bedrooms.
A light red blush shone through Trixie's cheeks, but she said nothing. Soon enough, they reached Starlight's room, neither mare saying anything as they both squeezed through the door and crossed to the bed. With a grunt of effort, Trixie hauled herself up and shuffled to the far side. Then she held a foreleg up, motioning for Starlight to join her.
I don't want a firebox to warm me. I want my star.
Happy to oblige, Starlight jumped up, lay down, and slid backwards, feeling Trixie's legs worm their way around her. Using her magic, she pulled the blanket over the pair of them.
Still missing Twilight?
Starlight mused over Trixie's questions before smiling.
Yes, in a way. But right now, I wouldn't change a thing. I'm glad I got to give you your first proper Hearthswarming. Trixie was glad you could too.
The showmare replied, before they fell into a comfortable silence. Soon after, they both drifted into Luna's realm, the fire of the season burning within them both.